What's up? Just a quick stream. It's already 4 p.m. currently, so probably won't be much longer than 2 hours or so. But still, I had some time to kill. As usual, I forget what I could be doing. It's just logging or power lines. So yeah, pretty straightforward. I still have that semi-trailer. Do all these places have unlimited supplies? This one does. This has 2 middle beams. This has 1. I think it makes the most sense to sell this trailer and pick up that one. Deliver that here. Sell the trailer. Pick up this trailer and then do the last 2 things. Doesn't need to be a good plan, just needs to be a plan. Apologies, just broke your sign. Maybe I should refuel first. Doesn't really matter much. But I think I will. I don't want to be buying trailers all the time, because I'll only have to sell them at the end. This is a bit unfortunate. So yeah, today is Friday. Tomorrow I'm planning to do quite a bit of streaming SnowRunner. Since my wife will be out all day from morning till pretty late at night, and I don't have many obligations, if any. So yeah. Not sure what time it'll start yet, but probably the usual time. Can I turn around here? Or should I just drive the long way round? Guess I might as well. things are coming along pretty nicely on my PlayStation save. Still in Wisconsin, but it's, you know, I moved on to the second map, Greener Lake something, I don't know. I always forget the name. I did the paper factory A and B missions, which was quite the slog. Some raging occurred, mostly because of stupid decisions, because for at least part of that, or part of those jobs. Oh, I was confused. I thought this was the task zone for that bridge thing. Well, yeah, you know, if you've played that map or that region, aka Wisconsin, don't have to go through here. If I would pay attention to the roads. But yeah, those paper factory, whatever it's called, contracts are not super easy. Especially if you make them harder than they need to be by choosing shorter routes. Shorter routes in suboptimal trucks. Like going through the forest in the twin steer, and then like specifically one time, but then yeah, I had to take bricks, so that wasn't, no, that was for one of the paper jobs. I think paper factory B maybe. Went out to get bricks in the twin steer from kind of tricky to reach locations where you shouldn't really try to go in the twin steer, especially with the big tires. But I did, and yeah, sell this. Could have refueled here, as it turns out. I did do some things successfully in the twin steer, but in the last 2 days, like both times I played this week, I played more than twice, you know what I'm saying? During 2 sessions, I used the twin steer for 3 occasions where I shouldn't have used it, or where I should have taken a different route, went for it anyway, tipped over, had to break out the, well, it was the P12 on one occasion, which then subsequently also got very close to being sideways. And most recently, last night, I had to bring over the P12 No. The first time was P5, whatever it's called, P512? PF. That almost tipped in the rescue process. Yesterday was the P12 with the heavy crane, which did do a much better job. Primarily because it wasn't as difficult of a spot as with the P512. I'm gonna call it P512 because I don't know what it's really called. P51 something. Because the thing with the twin steer is it's very good in any kind of wider and mostly level terrain. Like deeper water, or even just deep water. Wide, difficult roads, wide, normal roads. Any kind of forest roads that's kind of uneven or in a ditch kind of shape. That just... I should know by now that that never really works well. And I just remembered this is not exactly an easy trailer to hitch. Must be very careful to not push it over. Now, yeah, from this position I can't. How are you supposed to do this? This is not a, a tall truck. I don't know if this would work. Nope. Are you supposed to use the crane to just lift it up? Except that also doesn't work. Neighbor lady calling for their cat. I hope you can't hear that. It's quite annoying. I can't handle darkness. And it's not like you can just crane the cargo over to a different truck because it's packed, I'm fairly sure. Yeah, otherwise there would be a winch point on the beams, which there isn't. So riddle me this. There must be a trick to this that I'm not seeing. This is also not gonna fit. Is this a prank from the developers? Unless you use the heavy crane, but then you can't use the same truck for both things. The winch. It's not moving. Color me puzzled. I prefer to use cargo that's already lying around. It just doesn't work. And there she goes. You absolute sausage. I was able to push it over with the crane. I'm not able to lift it with the crane. Now it's unpacked as well, so I might as well get the beams out, then attach the trailer, and then load them up again. This is very stupid. Worst trailer in the game. What am I even doing? A 100 liters of fuel later. Does not work. Would be a fair question to ask where I'm going. Just gonna drive around the house instead of maneuvering. Correction, I'm gonna drive into the house. Okay, that kind of works. And I'd say now I should be able to get underneath. Reverse. Slow gear changes. Okay. Hello. This will be fun. Trying to turn around. Looked like it was stuck underneath the trailer. Okay, restore pack. Stupid boat. Just send me an invoice of the damages. Okay. That was not the smartest thing to do. And a good example of kind of a compulsive need to do things even though I know they won't work well. Because that's pretty much what happened the first time I played. Except from memory, I didn't have a crane on the truck I was trying to hitch the trailer to. So if I didn't have a crane now on the White Western, I most likely wouldn't have even tried so hard to use these beams. Quick refuel. Could be imagining things, but I feel like the gear changes are snappier on PlayStation. Don't know how that would even be possible, but now they seem to work. Of course, probably not the best idea to try this while driving. Well, look. What am I doing? Righto. Don't fall in there. I always forget. No, not down here. That'll be delivery 1 of 3. Now there isn't, I mean, there's only one trailer store, right? I mean, really, it might even be easier to go to Smithville Dam to the trailer store there, which is very close to the gate, instead of going through here, even though it's really not that difficult. I just might, though. Did I accept this? No. Right, this is wood planks. Which we... no. Which we can get from here. It's rather convenient. Island Lake kind of feels more intimidating, I suppose, than it really is. It's not intimidating, but you know, it's kind of a weird map because it's all flat and muddy, swamp-like. But the actual things you have to do here are pretty straightforward. Because metal beams you can get plenty of in the same map. Same for wood planks. A slight miscalculation. I thought I would be coming out here. So yeah, there goes my devious plan. Swing her around. By now I could have been at the trailer store. I don't know I'll ever be able to get those two maps right. Drummond Island and Island Lake. Something just mismatched in my brain where I imprinted the idea that Drummond Island is Island Lake and vice versa. And now it's always gonna be like that. I guess it makes sense. Like, this map is kind of a big lake with islands, I suppose. Then again, is there an island in Drummond Island? Not even sure. Quick top up. And then we need to go to there, and then yeah. Most likely, oh no, we have to go here for the trailer. So there as well. It's probably not a good idea to try and make a U-turn on any of these paths. So most likely I'll just drive all the way around. It's the sensible thing to do. I can never make this turn, or can I? Okay, I can. I was gonna say I can never make that turn in one go. If all goes well, and depending on how long I'll actually be streaming for tomorrow, we might be able to finish Michigan tomorrow. Wait, no. Although, yeah. I forgot about that. That's 3 things left to do. After power lines, there's still 3 for Husky forwarding. And then 4 more logging missions. So yeah. Probably not gonna finish Michigan tomorrow. But we should make pretty good progress. That said, time flies when you're streaming, at least for me, or time flies when you're playing SnowRunner, streaming or not. Started playing last night around 10:30 p.m. for what was supposed to be just a quick sesh, like an hour and a half, because I wanted to finish Paper Factory A. But things happened, transpired, if you will. I think I went to bed at 2:30-ish. Would have been more like 2 if I hadn't tipped the twin steer that second time. But I got greedy. Okay. A solid dead tree that just snapped right after I crashed into it. That doesn't really happen, or again, maybe I'm imagining things. But I feel like those weird collisions happen more often in the White Western. Must have something to do with the relatively low front bumper. It's fine as long as we're not taking actual damage from those collisions. Usually just bounce off. Oh, right. Oh, this is also... Yeah, I keep thinking these are the markers for those 2 new tasks that popped up. I never take this path very often. I think there's a reason for that. Let's hope this trailer will just attach with no issues. Looks like it should do. That was a very dangerous tree stump. Yup. And then, yeah, we just drive in a circle, essentially. I'm gonna set markers because I tend to get turned around. Because this all looks the same. There, and then left. Should have enough fuel. I know there is a fuel tanker somewhere, but I don't know if it's far out of the way, like here. But this is kind of muddy, and I'm not sure how well the White Western will handle this with pretty heavy cargo. Got stuck and I wasn't paying attention. Might have to leave the diff locks on the whole time because this is very slow going. Trudging is the word. I'm noticing that I'm kind of underestimating this job. Like, I'm not aware of the risks as much as I should be. That all it takes is some kind of... Do you call them potholes in dirt roads? I don't know. But any kind of sharp unevenness. But we push those thoughts aside for now. Did I? Oh. I was intending to check if I could go through here. That one's faster than expected. Probably shouldn't stop all the time, willy-nilly. Keep the momentum going. I'm such a doofus. How can I? I drove through it, didn't I? Or do you have to do them in order? I'm sure I would have seen if there were like a box drop zone. I'm gonna say there just wasn't one there and you have to do them in order 1, 2, 3. In which case I got lucky that number 1 was the first one I did. Now fuel might become an issue. And this is pretty steep. I love the White Western. It's one of my top 5, maybe top 3 trucks in the game. But with cargo like this, it's kind of showing a lack of power. Although we don't have the best engine yet, I do believe. I think that was still locked behind some rank, which I may or may not have reached. I'd be more nervous doing this in the Royal, I think. Not that that's possible, because it doesn't have a low saddle currently. But that truck likes to bounce around quite a bit. Yeah. I can't leave diff locks on because it's Like it's not struggling enough with the road as such. It's just struggling with the cargo. In hindsight, I could have also done this with the Royal and just take one beams at a time. Then I wouldn't have been able to use the trailers. But I'm sure they would have come in handy at some point. I highly doubt even. These are the last beams we have to deliver in all of Michigan. Okay, try to be a bit careful here because it's kind of could have cut that corner, but I wasn't sure enough if I could. Yeah, see, just to reinforce my assumption that I'm not, or what am I saying? To illustrate that I'm not an idiot, there is only one drop zone marker. There's one here, the one we have to do now. There isn't one over there where the third thing will be. It's gonna be close with fuel. If I run out, what would I do? The only truck I have here is the Royal, so, and I'm not even sure that can take trailers, because I think it has a crane. I forget. If it has the crane, we can't use that to refuel and tow some trailer to the White Western. I don't think I have any scouts nearby. By any scouts, I mean the Scout 800. So yeah, let's just try and not run out of fuel. Would high gear work? Not really. Although it is faster. It's faster until it completely stops. Again, this bumpy bit. The weather is getting a bit hotter in real life. And I'm under the roof, i.e. the hottest room in the house. So it's possible my PC is gonna start struggling a bit more. Okay, should be good for fuel. I am taking a risk, kind of, by having the window open. Because there is still construction across the street. But today is a national holiday. I don't know which one, to be honest. Might be Labor Day or something. So they shouldn't be working now. There was still some noise earlier. If I can, I'd like to go I'd like to go check out that that task. Could refuel just there. There is a tanker. But it looks like a good place to get stuck, so no, thank you. And I'll have to see if both of these bridge tasks require 2 wood each. I might want to do both of those with the White Western as well in one trip. I mean, in one load. Should be easier carrying 4 planks than 2 metal beams. But I will need to refuel kind of soonish. And I'm gonna have to decide soonish what I want to do. I think if we go uncover that other bridge task now, we will run out. There is a... wait, yeah. If I can... wait, too many thoughts at once. I can leave the trailer in the road, quickly go to that house where the tanker is. Which I assume is here. Yeah. leave that and pray that I'll still be able to hitch it without difficulties. Probably could have gotten up here and back down with the trailer, but yeah. It's just easier this way. Fully refuel. I don't think it's a good idea to try and cut through here. I haven't been there since I unlocked that tower. And even when I unlocked the tower, I remember going up here and then down there because there was an upgrade. And then back to the road here, so I never actually passed through this section. Ergo, I don't know what it's like, so I'm not gonna try it now. Top up again. I'm not being very diligent with turning my engine off when I'm checking the map. So yeah, now before we hitch the trailer back up, I might as well go check out that task first. And maybe refuel again afterwards. Maybe it's not so bad, this shortcut. Okay, this, yeah, as expected, also 2 wood planks. I'm gonna scout just a bit further. I don't think there's much point in going through here, taking a risk. Instead of, especially since we have to go back here with the to get the trailer anyway. What is this? Is this? Yeah. We can choose. How much is left? 60%. Because we could just take 2 planks from here with the Royal, because it's already at the mill. And then deliver those. Alternatively, pick up 4 planks in the White Western deliver those back around up here. Should be fine, I hope. Yeah. If only for stability reasons, I prefer to use the White Western with trailer. The Royal is not the worst in terms of top heaviness, but you do have to be a bit more careful. And in my mind, it would take longer. Like it would physically be longer trips to do both. I mean, to do 2 trips with the Royal instead of 1 longer trip with the White Western. Okay, so we go to the mill. Probably gonna finish these 2 tasks and call it a day for today. It'll be maybe an hour and a half or so in total. Which is probably my shortest stream in recent history. Usually it's like 2 to 3 hours, sometimes more, never really less. But I do want to pace myself a bit. Or not pace, but save my energy a bit for tomorrow. And I'd also like to maybe record 1 or 2 videos later tonight. And I still have to make dinner. Though not anytime soon per se, but if I start doing other jobs after these 2 tasks, I know it'll be another hour at least, at which point I'll probably starve. No, the Royal does not have a crane, as it turns out. I forget why that was relevant. I do think the Royal would be faster. 2 planks. Deliver here. Past here again. Refuel if necessary. Yeah, you know what? This was an exercise in redundancy. So as it turns out, unless I push it over, as it turns out, I am gonna accidentally attach my trailer and then change to the Royal. I just feel like driving this guy. It was mostly if it also had a crane. Like I'd be much more worried about falling over. Sometimes you choose the most appropriate truck for a job. Other times you just need to choose whichever one is most fun. Also, it's just wood planks, which are not as heavy as something like metal beams or whatever. So if we're a little bit careful and not driving like a maniac, like this speed or lower, there shouldn't be any big risk. And it's a good illustration of you know, the difference in power, I suppose. The White Western was also towing a trailer, not just the cargo. And the cargo was heavier. So it's a bit unfair, perhaps. But still, in the White Western, we had to use all-wheel drive all the time. And diff locks whenever we could. Whereas now we don't even need all-wheel drive. And we don't have diff locks, so. I do have the Royal in Wisconsin, like on my PlayStation save. I did use the Royal for whatever reason very early on, because it's been parked by one of the crafting zones for as long as I've been playing in recent weeks. Like I parked it there whenever the last time I played was, like whenever I had another spurt of SnowRunner on PlayStation, which might have been a year ago. Okay. I'm not sure I knew you needed to have the task tracked to be able to deliver stuff. Yeah, so the Royal has been parked in the exact same spot for months now. When I need an off-road truck in that game, 9 times out of 10 I'll use the Freightliner 114S. I keep forgetting the model number. think I do prefer the look of the Royal though, compared to that specific Freightliner. I've said it before, but this has a boxiness that I really enjoy. A lot of right angles. Okay, now back to the mill for 2 more planks. Shouldn't need to set markers. I feel like I took the same route like 5 times in this short stream. I'm not gonna refuel. Not because I can't, but there is plenty of fuel left in the tanker. But I just don't want to. And I don't need to. And I think that tanker is like halfway empty by now, and I will need it for other occasions. Okay, no stop pickup. Can be a bit risky. Like, it's easy to get distracted and just crash into the dock or accidentally load the wrong cargo or accidentally load it on the loading dock instead of on the truck. In a truck that doesn't have a crane, so then you have to go get another truck. Or just remove the cargo, but it's not always an option if it's if there's a limited amount of that cargo. It's not in here, no. That's where the first trailer fiasco happened, and the only trailer fiasco. It is down here. Might switch to low gear if it gets a bit unwieldy. I feel like maybe this wasn't the right way to go. No. I still had the same delivery point in mind from the middle beams. That's my mistake. It's definitely not your mistake. Also, probably not SnowRunner Dave's mistake. I think he's called Dave within the community. Didn't want to take the chance with those rocks in the road. It's the worst thing when you're on the last task you want to do for for the session you're doing. Like you said, you would only do one more task, and then during that task you get a bit impatient, start taking risks which you shouldn't take and which are just not worth it. And then you mess up, and then you can't leave the situation as is and just fix it next time. And then 2 hours later, you're kind of done with the game for a week or two. Which I absolutely don't want to have happen if I want to keep streaming this as often as I am right now. I feel like it's kind of taking over the channel in a good way. Like most streams, at least a few people show up, which I only see after the fact because I don't monitor my views. But yeah, seems like the streams are starting to do a bit better than the videos, which is interesting. I'm trying to keep a balance between the two, and I really don't want to just stop. I mean, I don't want to stop doing either. I really don't want to stop or interrupt currently running series of videos like the session 1 and the cairn 1. I'm not really going anywhere, just driving around while I finish my point. Yeah. There's no need to go anywhere specific. I'm a bit curious why this is still on the map. Because it was a pickup point for a container, I believe, which we had to deliver here. Maybe there will still be follow-up things. Because there is a fallen antenna there, no? Like the one with the light. There is something here. I'm sure there'll become a mission at some point. If it isn't one already. But yeah, now we can do drilling equipment. Yeah, it's all still confined into this map. I don't know how big those pieces of cargo are. I'm assuming at least 4 slots. I'll have to check online. Or does it say, yeah, 4? If it didn't say here, I would have checked online, because there's nothing worse than showing up at a pickup point with an inadequate trailer or flatbed. So yeah, this thing, White Western, is the only choice we have available currently. Doesn't really make sense to drive the P16 out here just for that, which can't take normal semi-trailers, just big ones. I say that, I'm not 100% sure. This isn't really a map I want to drive around in the P16. And I don't know which others I could use. Wait. I'm stalling once again. This is Royal and White Western. This has TransStar and P16. Wait, TransStar? That's not right. FleetStar. Nothing in Black River. And here, TransStar. I'm just checking to make sure which options I have, because I feel like the White Western will struggle quite a bit. Twin steer. Perhaps. I have been waiting. Oh, oops. I have been waiting for an occasion to use the twin steer properly. I feel like the White Western will struggle. We have to deliver here. That said, if we want to pass through here every time, that will be much more difficult in the twin steers. Probably should just keep using the White Western. It's just more convenient because it's already here. The only issue is fuel and like going at a reasonable speed. So yeah, that's the plan for next time, aka tomorrow. If there's anyone watching who will want to join in next time tomorrow, I will try to schedule the stream. I don't think I have anything to do, so I might as well schedule it now for whatever time I think I will start tomorrow. Should be around 2-ish, I'd say, in the afternoon. If I can, depends on the energy I have, like how willing I am to keep going. But I think if I start around 2, I could go till 6 maybe. And take a break for dinner. And start again around 8 or so. I feel like evening streams on weekends tend to do a bit better, probably because more people from the US are able to join, because then it's afternoon on a Saturday. So yeah, we'll see. I'm yapping along at 200 miles an hour. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.